Kickzoo, a martial arts story. Chapter 1 Part 2. All right, you asked for it, prepare for mayhem, said Roar, who stood at 6'2" with wild hair in an ice hockey jersey and padded trousers tucked into hiking boots. Roar grabbed the handles of his twin short swords and pulled them out of their sheaths. Then Roar ran straight at Great Man and began swinging his swords wildly, trying to decapitate him, but Great Man kept back, flipping and evading the swords. After a while, Roar had enough and stood still at the end of the park. "It's time for my special technique, the drill sword," said Roar. As Great Man stood bravely, Roar pointed both of his swords forward toward Great Man and then began to run at him. In a show of brilliant ingenuity, Roar's entire body began spinning rapidly just like a drill, and he flew horizontally toward Great Man, holding the swords which were spinning out in front. The drill sword relentlessly chased Great Man up the slides, through the basketball court and around the park 20 times. Great Man tried to conceal himself within a rope climbing structure, but the drill sword tore right through it, forcing Great Man out. Great Man strategically positioned himself and gained his composure as the drill sword approached. Then, just as the drill sword was about to contact Great Man, he thrust the palms of his rock-solid hands together, catching the swords between his hands as though they were nothing. A loud clap echoed across the park as Roar hovered above the ground, holding on to his swords which were still in Great Man's grasp. Furiously, Roar whipped his swords away from Great Man and yelled, "I don't believe this. You think you have me beaten? Well, now I'll show you my true power." Roar chased Great Man again and began swinging his swords wildly without landing a scratch on his enemy, who decided it was time to end the battle. Great Man leaped off the ground and grabbed Roar's head with both hands, pointing his toes toward the sky. In this upside-down position, Great Man unleashed 1,000 volts of electricity through his hands directly into Roar's body and maintained the technique for 7 seconds, diminishing Roar's strength and lighting up the park in broad daylight. Great Man flipped over and leaped off Roar's head, landing on his right knee, while Roar fell to his knees and collapsed face down like dead weight. The children on the staircase were in awe and gasped for air. Eventually, Roar rose to his hands and knees and then kneeled on his left knee facing Great Man. Roar said, "Who are you?" Great Man answered, "I am Great Man." "Where did you learn that technique?" inquired Roar. "From the great guru," said Great Man. Then Roar realized that Great Man and himself were both trained by the same man, the great guru of the great temple. He also remembered learning about the dreaded Gala Grip, the deadliest technique in martial arts. Could this stranger have just defeated Roar with the Gala Grip, which is rumored to have been mastered by one man only? "No wonder you're so strong," said Roar. "Now listen, from this day on you are my rival, and I promise to defeat you no matter what it takes," he added. "You are a true warrior, and I welcome your challenge," said Great Man. The two men began casually discussing Roar's technique, what was wrong with it, and why he couldn't slice the giant leg of bison. Great Man smiled before he suggested that Roar swap each sword into the opposite hand and try again. Roar rebuked his suggestion. "What do you take me for, some kind of butter knife samurai? These swords are flawless, gifted to me by the great guru himself. How can something so simple be the key to my technique?" Great Man replied, "You're right. The problem is fear, and you're full of it." Roar responded, "I'm not scared of anything, but just to prove your theory wrong, I'm going to give it a try." "Why should I trust you anyway?" Great Man replied, "The elephant is fearless in battle, even with the arrow in its back." At that moment, Roar realized that he was the elephant with the arrow in its back and that he should trust Great Man. Roar swapped each sword into the opposite hand and got ready to take one more swing at the leg of bison. He counted down from 10 to 1 and still didn't move until Great Man shouted, "Go!" Instantly, Roar began running from the end of the park, and as he approaches the swings, he brings his arms across his chest. Within 3 meters of the swings, Roar leaps off the ground directly into the leg of bison and throws his arms outward in another attempt to slice the meat, causing a blinding flash of light, a gale, and a thunderous roar. This noise is followed by a gentle tinging sound, and Roar lands on his right knee, having traveled directly through the swings. At first it appears as though nothing has happened, but within moments slices of meat begin to fall from the bottom of the leg of bison to the ground. Within a minute, the entire leg of bison had fallen to the ground in 100 even slices, surrounded by pieces of rope. I did it, I finally did it, yelled Roar in a joyous state. He had finally sliced the leg of bison and mastered his most dangerous technique, the tiger moth assault. The children on the staircase began clapping and cheering, having witnessed a great triumph of skill, and Roar walked over to Great Man. Thanks to you I can finally call myself a samurai and eat breakfast. Please come and eat with me. To which Great Man responded, food. Yes. Then Great Man and Roar loaded the bison meat into a pickup truck and drove off. From that day on, Great Man and Roar became partners and promised to defend each other until the end of time. The next day Great Man and Roar marched through the town as though they had defeated 1,000 soldiers. The streets were lined with tidy detached houses and front lawns. Their destination was a local nursery where Great Man had been invited to meet someone special. The scenery was filled with blooming cherry blossom trees, and on the ground were purple erica flowers, fresh grass, and trimmed hedges. As they entered the building they were greeted by the principal, a short old man with a stern face who led them toward his office. There is a hero inside of every child. It's my job to nurture these children and find the heroes of tomorrow. Now it's your turn to help, said the principal. Waiting inside of the principal's office were 3 girls of school-leaving age. Men, these are the 3 girls who have been working at the nursery. And girls, this is Great Man, our local superhero. Please introduce yourselves, said the principal.